I'm going to start in Word, and I always change the layout, the margins to 0.5, just because it gives me more space to work with. And then I went onto Google and I searched for Minnie Mouse flowers, vectors, and I came with these. And of course, you always want to click this one, make sure the background is white and not just the picture itself when there has a transparent background, because it'll come out black. So you choose this one, so it'll paste with white. And now you have all these flowers. And they all have transparent backgrounds, so when you layer them and everything, you can see the background. So it's pretty awesome. And then you crop them. And this is how I use things individually. So I'll crop it just so that I use the one flower that I want. And I'm going to do that with all of them. Okay, now you can see that I have all the flowers on here individually. So I'm going to change the layout, the orientation to landscape. And I actually like the size of these, so I'm just going to delete one. I like that one more. So I'm going to keep these. And now what I'm going to do is insert, if I can find it. I'm going to insert text box. Simple text box. And I'm going to make it really long and skinny. Delete everything that's in there. So we're just using this rectangle. I need to make it, move it. So this is pretty much going to be our stem. I think that's as good as it's going to be. And then the outline, let's see, I want to make it a tiny bit thicker. There. So now there's our text box. And copy and go towards the end and to paste it. The great thing about text boxes is you can pretty much move them around anywhere you want. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, my printer stopped working, but I'm decided to keep that part on the video in case it'll benefit you guys in the future for other projects. But since my printer's not working, we just drew the stuff by myself, and my kids have been helping me, so we have been making our own little petals. And you're going to want to make hearts, butterflies, birds, bows, and flowers. So there's 5 different blossoms, I guess, or flowers, things that you can collect. Okay, so once we have these all ready, we cut them out. So you're going to have them, like little sticks. And I'm going to show you 2 forms of doing this. So if you don't have a laminating machine, then I would recommend to use cardstock paper to make this thicker. And if you have cardstock, or make them out of like cereal boxes or something that's a little bit thicker. And then once you have that made, then we put tape on it like this, and you cover it. And this is like creating a laminating thing. And this will also reinforce it and help it. Oh, thank you. And help it so that it won't, it'll be a little bit more firm and resistant to wear and tear. So here I've done one side. So you take it off. It's all taped, and then you do it on the other side. And you cover the back side with tape. And of course I'm still going to laminate this one because it's, it's regular paper and it's super thin. But if you do have a laminator, then you just put, the earpieces into the laminator. I'm going to laminate this. Okay, here I've laminated it, and you see how much firmer these are. So if you don't have a laminating machine, I totally recommend to buy one. So we're gonna cut all of them, all the hearts and flowers and everything, make them the same. And again, I recommend at least 8 or 9 of each category. So hearts, butterflies, birds, bows, and flowers. So at least 8 or 9 of each. Okay, now that we have all of these printed, cut, and laminated, we're going to move them to the side. And now we're going to work on our tubes, bases, or whatever they call them. So we're gonna use toilet paper rolls, and hopefully, and then we're going to grab a cup, and this is going to be for the base, or anything round that will cover the bottom of your toilet paper roll, and this will be for stability. Okay, now I have these circles, and I'm going to layer them with decorative paper. And once I have that side done, then we can cut them out and do the same thing on the other side of the carton. Have them done on this side, so we're going to flip it and put it on the back side. Now I have all these circles done on both sides, and we're going to decorate these. Okay, once I have this done, I cut strips down to the center, down to the cardboard, the roll, and try not to cut the roll itself. I'm just cutting the paper. And now that I have these all done, you can print off little Minnie, Mickey Mouse, all the little characters, or draw them yourself. Since my printer wasn't working, I drew them. And you could even draw or print a whole paper and use that to decorate the round, but after you use thicker paper, because I like using cardstock. It just makes it a little bit more firm. And then we're just going to glue on these images. That my children helped me color in. And now we have our little sticks and our vases done. And now we're going to make the spinner. Now my husband has fixed my printer, so I'll be able to print these. And I googled circle, what was it? Googled 9 equal parts circle. And so because we need it to be in 9 parts. And then I just copied and pasted, and I'm going to send it to the back because we want it to be all the way in the back. So when we end up pasting another image, it won't move this around. See, so now we can type and everything, and it'll type above it and everything. So it has placed it where we want it, and now I'm going to look up hearts. So I found this heart, and it has a transparent background. So I'm going to copy image. And then paste. Remember, we want this one, not the black one. Not the other paste, because then it creates a background. So this one, we can move it around. Oh, forgot to send it to front. So wrap text, put in front of text. And now we can move it around. And we can position it pretty much where we want. And this is why I like working with images that have a transparent background, because then I don't have to, have white boxes and stuff. And this is about centered. And now I'm going to do that and find the hearts, the flowers, and other images that we need. And again, paste. Keep source formatting, not this one. We do not want the white, black. And again, go to wrap text and then put in front of text. So every time you layer it, it will always layer on top of everything. And if you want to bring the other one to the front, then you would have to move it, click on this one, and then rearrange them that way. Oh yeah, so we want to skip one. So there's the flower. So now I have done all the images. You're going to want butterfly, flower, heart, bird, and a bow, and 3 petals. And then one empty, and this one will say pass, which you can write once you print the paper or insert it in here. Oh, insert. Insert text box. Just a regular one. We're going to bring it down. Select all text and pass. And this way you can make it as big or as little as you want. Different fonts. I really like this font for some reason. I always stick to it. And then you can move it around. So, I love what Word has become. Shape fill, no fill, so that way it goes transparent. So I go up here, shape fill, and then you remove the background. So it's also, you can position it wherever, and it won't interfere with the image in the back at all. Oh, oops, let me try. Make it a tiny bit smaller. Let's make this a tiny bit smaller. Let's do 60. And there you go. Oh, I forgot to remove the square. Shape fill, no fill, outline. No outline, and there you go. Now it erased it. So here is our circle that we're going to print. And I'm just going to print it. And it always says, are you sure the margins are small? But yes, I always print them. And it always turns out fine. Okay, so here is the paper that we printed, and I cut it off already. And I'm going to use this to create the arrows that you spin around. So it doesn't have to be, very fancy or anything. So I just made, a point on the top right here. And then you just go in. And then I'm going to measure about where I want it. So I'm going to cut off about this much. And here is our pointer. And the kids will spin it. I'll put more. Now I'm going to go and laminate this along with the circle. Now it's laminated, and I'm going to cut it. Okay, now that I finished cutting these pieces out, I'm going to draw another circle, and we're going to cut this one out of the cardboard. And it has to be bigger than the circle that you made with the paper. So just make sure it's bigger. Like, this is about maybe an inch, a little bit more than an inch, larger than the circle. Now I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, I've cut out the cardboard piece, and now we're going to put all of these 3 pieces together, and we're going to use these fasteners And you want these ones so that you can spin the things around. Okay, so for the center piece, you just, I just ended up grabbing some scissors and I pushed into it really hard and made that hole. Kind of estimating the center of this and marking it with my pencil. And we'll do the same with this one, make the hole. There you go. Now I have a hole here. Okay, so I hole punched this one. And then with a larger hole punch, and now I'm going to put it in through the center. There you go. So you want to make sure that there's enough space there for it to spin. And then you can close that. And make sure there's a gap right there, and then you can spin this. So yeah. So when you press these back parts, just make sure that you're holding this piece up so that there's space in between here. So it's not pushing and holding this down so that it can spin. And now that we have that in, we're going to glue this piece down. Okay, so I decided I'm going to put a bead. It doesn't have to be like super big. It's just on the bottom of here to just give it a little bit more ease of spinning with my hot glue gun. I put just a dab of glue. Make sure that the glue does not go above the bead because the glue can create, it'll be sticky. There you go. And see how it spins a lot easier now. So we're going to use these magnets. I like magnets that have a sticker in the back so that we can just stick them on without having to glue them. And then we're going to need to make a bunch of petals. Okay, so now for the petals, I folded this piece of paper until I had 16 equal squares. So just to make sure I would create the correct amount, because we need 16 petals. And so the way I fold it is you just fold it in half and then again. And then I unfold it because, the fold always changes when you keep folding it. So I fold it this way and then this way. And then so I'd have 4 and then I folded it this way and this way. So I'd have those equal. And again through this way and this way. So that created 16 folds. And now I'm just going to cut a lot of petals. Okay, and then, so yeah, I'm just going to cut, they don't have to be perfect, and I'm just going to cut all of them. Okay, now I've printed off all these images, and I already cut one bee out. So I did all of the hearts and flowers, like everything that we had, times 2. So there's 10 petals that will have these images, and then there are 6 bees. So, of course you can change that around because I'm not completely sure, but there has to be at least 3 bees. But because of the way it added up, I assume that this is how they had the game. I don't have the game, so I'm not completely sure. So, yeah, so 2 hearts, 2 flowers, 2 butterflies, 2 birds, and 2 bows, and 6 bees. And you can do that if you like. And, yeah, so now I'm going to just glue each image onto the back of a petal, which I have also drawn a line on, just because I thought it would look cool. And then after this, I'm going to laminate them. Okay, I have laminated and cut all the leaves. And now I'm going to cut another small circle. Okay, and now that I cut this out, I'm going to use my magnets. And you can use the magnets or Velcro, anything, but I recommend the ones, because both come with sticky backs already, so I would recommend those. And now I'm going to cut these up and just stick them on. And I forgot to mention that I did try to kind of leave a space on the bottom when I would put these on, because these are going to be for the magnet to go there. So I'm not sure how big I'm going to cut them, but maybe, yeah, so into thirds. This is maybe a little smaller than an inch. And I'm just trying to measure, make sure that it fits.
The hair is scary, Buffy. Saya, do you want your hair, Buffy?
Okay, so now when you cut enough for all the petals, then you just peel it and stick it. And what I end up doing is I end up just leaving another magnet on top, like that. And I'm going to peel this, so that magnet is on there and it'll be sticky, and then I'm going to stick it onto this circle. And so now it has a place. See? So I'm going to do that with all of the petals, and I'm going to stick them on. And then we also, for the beehive, so the smaller circle is going to be the beehive, right? And then the point of this is to hold the bees. And once you have the 3 bees, that's the end of the game, right? And so I'm just going to have 3 magnets here to hold the 3 leaves of the bees, and then I'll show you the finished game, and that should be everything. So, and here is the full finished game. I have added magnets to the bottom, and so when you move it around, everything sticks. The little bead on the bottom really helps this spin a lot, so make sure you add the bead on the bottom of this arrow. And this is the hive for the bees that we find. And if you're not completely sure how to play the game, there's actually a guy that I found that he did a review on Minnie Mouse's Blossoms game. What is it?
Minnie Mouse Blossoms and Bows.
On the Minnie Mouse Blossoms and Bows game. So you can watch his video to learn how to play it. You pretty much just spin this, and whatever it lands on, you collect that and put it in one of the vases. And then once you have all 3 bees in the hive, that's the end of the game. And when you land on pass, you end up losing a flower. And I'm not sure if you have to give it to someone else or if you put it back in the pile. That part I didn't understand fully.
Yeah, you have to give it to someone else.
You give it to someone else?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd probably just put it back in the pile, because then they'll be fighting. No, give it to me. So, yeah, so that's the full game. I hope you guys have fun making this with your children. My kids really had fun making this, and they're very anxious to play with it already. So, thanks for watching. Bye.